I do think, and again, I can make comparisons over multiple decades. I mean, today the fact that we are the fifth largest economy, how we have come through COVID, how we are today dealing with the headwinds of the Ukraine conflict, how we have actually transitioned into the digital era. I think these are all how in fact our diaspora and their successes have changed the perception of India in the world. I think it's a accumulation of multiple factors, but at the end of the day, you should give the world this credit. The world's a very hard-headed place. Nobody kind of buys sort of a spiel. I mean, people test you out through policies and practices and your decisions, and when people today do see, in a difficult situation, India responds. We have today, certainly in our part of the world, developed that image of a first responder. Nepal earthquake happens, Yemen civil war happens. I've seen during Ukraine, I mean, a whole lot of my fellow foreign ministers actually have told me that they were following who could evacuate out of Ukraine. Now, the fact that we did 20,000 was for them staggering number. There were people who were struggling to do 200. So there is a performance evaluation. I think the world's a very competitive place, and within this, roughly 200 countries of the world, they do track each other. They do exchange views. They do judge you by, your crisis response, your non-crisis response. They do judge you by your ability to take stands. So if you're part of a grouping, it's a kind of run-of-the-mill, okay, you are one more of a herd, versus your ability to stand your ground or to say, well, I think this is what should be or should not be. I think all those things matter. And definitely, I would say, compared to where we were earlier, as a foreign minister, it is a huge advantage for me to represent a country which is in a much stronger position than it has ever been. On the other hand, as I had the occasion to tell someone during my book release, a Gujarati book release, I said, look, I would envy the person. They asked me what would be the world in 2047. So I said, I have no idea, but I envy the person who would have my job in 2047. So because, I can see the trajectory, and the world respects that. So at the end of the day, it's a mix, but finally the economics is key. I mean, if you ask me in all of this, nuclear matters enormously, but if you tell me, okay, out of all the variables, pick one. If you had a chance to, saying one domain you really want to put everything into, no question, I would put it into the economics.